Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Jason, and this is Art of Creation Homestead. We're in the kitchen today. Alright, we've got a beautiful tomato harvest. We've canned some tomatoes throughout the year, done some salsa, things like that. You can see all those videos on our channel. They're really good videos because my wife, Miss Angela Kay, is a brilliant canner, okay? But today, she wants to do something a little different. And you know those little cans of tomatoes, they call them Rotel, that you can buy in the store? You know, they're pre-seasoned and all that junk, right? They sound like they work really good for Mexican recipes. Angela Kay is going to show you how to do it in your own kitchen. Alright, so let's go do that.
Okay, first we are going to start by peeling our tomatoes. The easy way to do that is to scald them. Scald them and shock them. So I have a pot of slightly boiling water here. As you can see, it looks strange because I've already been, these are my last two, so I've already been doing this. And I have a sink full of cold water, which you can see I've already been doing.
With tomato scraps in it.
So, first thing you want to do, you want to just score the bottom. Just barely score the skin. Draw a little X. Just cut through the skin. Try not to cut much at all through the meat. Then just put them into your pot. And don't splash yourself with hot water like I just did. These are the last two. Literally, it just takes, it depends on the breed of tomato. Some will hold their skin tighter.
Thicker skin, thinner skin.
And they won't crack as easy. Like this big purple one right here, that's a carbon. It will split very quickly. Literally, sometimes it takes a matter of seconds. See, like this guy, he's already split.
Yep.
So you put him over here in the cold water. And see, he's already split too.
Yep.
And you just put him over there in the cold water. Now, because they are not really hot, because they haven't been in the water long enough to be hot, you can just pick them right up and literally your skin just peels right off. That is the easiest way that I can tell you to peel your tomatoes. And see, perfectly peeled now. Now as I peel this last one, I'm going to explain something to you. This recipe is going to contain non-acidic ingredients, being the peppers. I am going to be water bath canning this. There is two things that will make this safe to water bath can. First, I will be adding lemon juice. You can also add citric acid. I will be adding lemon juice to each jar to up the acidity level.
Which is the same as you do when you can tomatoes.
Yes. But this is all about ratios. You have to have the perfect ratio of acidic vegetables, which is tomato, to non-acidic, which is the peppers. If you vary from that, you're entering the danger zone. As you can see, we've got all of our tomatoes chopped up. And I've chopped them in just chunks. See? Just good chunks.
That's beautiful, by the way, all those different colors.
See, that's the thing about making it homemade. You don't have to stick to one type of tomato.
Yeah. You
can do any type of tomato that's in your garden, and it's just going to make it even better.
Instead of the junk that commercial industries use.
So we have, like I've told you, this is all about ratios. That's what makes it be able to water bath can. You have 12 cups of diced tomatoes in here. And the ratio needs to be 12 to 1. 12 cups of acidic to 1 cup of non-acidic. So if you choose, oh, I want onions in mine, then you've got to take out some of the peppers because you only want 1 cup of non-acidic.
Good point.
So I am dancing nowhere near that line.
Nope.
I am staying away from it, and I'm doing 3/4 of a cup of peppers. These are not jalapenos, as we have told you many times before. Our tongues love the heat, our stomachs do not. So I am using jalapenos for the flavor, but not the heat. You can use any type of chilies you want here. Depends on how hot you want your Rotel.
Can you use sweet bell peppers?
If you want no heat at all, yes, you can use sweet bell peppers. Just don't exceed 1 cup.
Okay. Hey Angela, I have a question.
What?
Why do these tomatoes, why are they going to look different than the ones you get in the can?
Okay, the ones in the can. First off, they are underripe. when they go in.
Yeah.
That's the reason they are so pale in color. They are underripe. These are perfectly ripe. So this is not going to be just like what you get in the can, because these are perfectly ripe tomatoes, not horribly underripe tomatoes. And also, Rotel and any other canned tomato, the canned diced tomatoes, if you've ever noticed when you've used them, you can cook that sucker for an hour and they still stay in those perfect little dices. There's a reason for that. They use a chemical called calcium chloride that makes the tomatoes stay in that shape and that texture no matter what.
Yep. So this is chemical free Rotel.
So your tomatoes are going to break down just a little bit.
Yep.
They're not going to stay in perfect dices, but I promise you it's going to be so much better.
Benefits are greater.
It's going to be so much better.
Absolutely.
So to this, you know, the can of Rotel says spices, but it don't tell you what the spices are. Well, I did a whole lot of research to find out what I could find out. Okay. Over here we have 1 tablespoon of canning and pickling salt. We have 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And here is the kicker. This is a teaspoon of oregano. Yes, I said oregano. Oregano is used a lot in Mexican dishes. And this is 1/2 teaspoon of coriander. Coriander, for those of you who don't know what it is pretty much the same thing as cilantro. The only difference is this is the ground up seeds of cilantro. It pretty much has a lot of the same flavor. If you want to put fresh cilantro in, you can. But remember, that is a non-acidic ingredient. Whatever you put in of that, you have to take out peppers.
Yep.
So that's why I'm choosing to use coriander powder, because that doesn't affect the acidity level. So all of that goes in. We are going to give this just a gentle toss. Be very gentle with it, because you don't want to break up your tomatoes. So be very gentle. Just toss it in together. For your own reference, mild Rotel uses, some people say they use all Anaheims. Other people say they use a mix of Anaheims and jalapenos. That will give you the mildest flavor. Anything you go up from that is going to get hotter and hotter. The hot Rotel uses a spicier pepper. You can go as spicy as you want. So now we are going to turn this over medium-high heat and just bring it to just a gentle bubble. And then we are going, and I will show you what that looks like, but then we are going to turn the heat back to just barely a simmer and let it simmer for like 10 minutes before we jar it. It's at just a gentle bubble. You can, if you look really close, you can see little bubbles coming up. And it's at just a gentle bubble. That's where you want it at before you knock the heat back. So I'm going to knock the heat back to about medium-low. And you're going to let them simmer there for 10 minutes. And then we'll be ready to start the canning process. Okay, it's been 10 minutes, and as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful.
It's really nice.
And it smells like Rotel.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
We tasted the juice, and it's really good flavor.
Okay, now we'll get ready to jar this up. So the way you're going to make this acidic enough is you're going to add lemon juice or citric acid to the bottom of each of your jars. So over here, we are going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. Bottled lemon juice, not fresh, because fresh, the acidity level is all over the board with fresh lemons.
Yep, it's true.
This is consistent. So use just a tablespoon of bottled lemon juice per jar. Now, we're just going to ladle it up. You want to leave a 1/2 inch headspace. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And just a wee bit more. take us up to a 1/2 inch.
There you go.
And now we're going to debubble. And that may take it down, so I may have to add a little bit more. Sometimes it'll take it down past where you want it, and sometimes it won't. This, we may need just a smidge more after we debubble.
There you go.
There we go. Now, you want to be sure, wipe down your rim. I am using just a wet paper towel. You can use a paper towel that you have soaked in white vinegar. That works really well as well. Now, over here, I have my lids in boiling water that I've taken from my canner. They have been washed thoroughly and put in the boiling water from my canner. Now you want to place a lid on. Now you want to put your ring on, just finger tight. Don't wrench it down, just finger tight, because you want the air bubbles to be able to come out. Okay, now we're going to lower it down into, this is the Ball Electric Water Bath Canner. You can use a stovetop canner as well. And we are going to lower it down in there. And this also has 2 good tablespoons of white vinegar. It will keep your jars from getting the white
Water spots.
hard water deposits on it. So we're going to keep filling our jars. We'll be back. Okay, last jar going in. We got 6 pints and some change.
Yep.
Okay, the Ball Electric Water Bath Canner has a plate to keep the jars from moving around inside your canner. A regular stovetop water bath canner is not going to have that.
And it's okay.
Yes. So I put the plate in. Now you want to put your lid back on. And you want to bring it back up to a boil. You will see bubbles starting to come to the top. When you see bubbles coming really good to the top, you want to set your timer for 40 minutes. Now, just so you know, the cans of Rotel that you buy are like this.
How big are they? 11
I think they're
ounces?
like 11 and a half ounces,
Yeah.
something like that. These are pints. These are going to be 16 ounces. So you may want to adjust accordingly in your recipes according to the fact that this is going to be a little bit more.
Yeah. It'll be okay, go can for can, but once you start to get into 3 cans, you may want to say
Once you get into 3 cans, you may want to do two jars.
2 jars of this for 3 cans
Yes.
of Rotel.
Okay, they've processed for 40 minutes. Then I turned the heat off and let it sit for 5 minutes.
Hey, I turned the heat off. Thank you very much.
Jason turned the heat off
It's
because I was editing a video. Okay, now you want to pull straight up. You really don't want to tip because
Nope.
tomatoes they will spew a little bit.
and also, like, if they haven't popped yet as far as the poppers, and so the seal may not be completely tightened down at this point in time. And if you were to turn them over, you might like slosh some of the tomato product underneath the rim and give yourself a little bit of a false seal.
That look where the juice is in the bottom and the tomatoes are on top, that's just from the processing. As they sit, it will start to come back together.
Yep.
But it won't come fully together. Once they have set for 18 to 24 hours, which is how long you want these to sit, once they have rested that long, you can shake it together and they will be one mass.
Make sure
Yeah.
they rested though.
But make sure they have rested 18 to 24 hours before you do that. Now, all this water that's on top, I'm just going to take paper towel and just gently dab it off. When you do that, make sure that you don't touch this popper in the center because you can give it a false seal if you do that. So you want to gently dab it. I know some people say that it will evaporate. Yes, it will evaporate on its own, but it will also leave water spots on your jars that you cannot get off.
So if you want a pretty jar, dab them off.
And also, if you have a puddle of water like you had to do on that one, it's not going to evaporate. I don't care how long you let it sit.
No, you don't want that. Okay, so there you have it. Some amazing looking and amazing tasting, by the way, because we did taste them before we put them in the jars. But amazing recipe for some home canned Rotel. In fact, better than Rotel. Okay, it's a home canned, beautiful product that you can use anytime with your fresh garden ingredients, fresh tomatoes, fresh peppers, things you've grown yourself, and there's no chemicals in it if you don't use calcium chloride like the commercial manufacturers do. So it's a beautiful product, great use all winter long. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not subscribed to this channel, then you better do so, because if you don't subscribe, you're going to keep getting one of these videos, and you're going to want those, right? So this is a good video. Great recipe. Angela's amazing. She can teach you how to do anything you want to do as far as cooking and canning goes. And so just keep coming back here for that, for gardening, for chickens, things of that nature. All right, we'd love to hear from you. Comment below if any kind of comments you may have, as long as you're not a mean mouth. So we love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Art of Creation Homestead. God bless you and goodbye.